Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a whole new way of thinking about the one-person business, especially now in the age of AI. It feels like the old playbook is broken, so we're going to figure out what the new one looks like. If you're building anything online right now, you've probably felt it. There's this shift happening. It's a sense that all the old rules, all the tried and true methods for getting traffic and making sales, they just don't hit the same way anymore, right? And look, this isn't just in your head. As the digital philosopher Dan Koh points out, the strategies that were crushing it just 12 months ago are kind of losing their punch. The very ground we're building on is fundamentally changing. But here's the thing, this isn't just random chaos. What feels like a total breakdown is actually a pretty predictable evolution. And understanding exactly why it's happening, well, that's the key to figuring out your next move and actually getting ahead of the curve. For the longest time, the path was super clear, wasn't it? You build an audience around something you're passionate about, and then you sell them an info product or maybe some coaching. And honestly, it was a revolutionary model. I mean, think about it. This model let a single person become the whole shebang. Marketing, sales, product development, all of it. You basically had two simple levers to pull. Get more traffic and make your product better. Your income wasn't tied to an employer. It was tied to the value you could create. Now, let's be clear. The core idea of creating value for people, that's timeless. It's never going away. But the vessel for that value, the container, like a static PDF or a traditional course, that's what's becoming obsolete. And there's a really important reason why. Okay, let's get into the weeds here. The real reason the old model is sputtering out is because the market for information has basically reached the final stage of its life cycle. It's not that information is less valuable, it's that the way we've been packaging it has just run its course. The legendary copywriter Eugene Schwartz actually mapped this all out decades ago. It starts simple, you're first, so you just state your offer. Then competitors show up, so you have to make bigger, bolder claims. Then the market gets skeptical, so you have to explain your unique mechanism. But then, of course, everyone copies your mechanism. And that brings us right to today, stage 5. Everyone is just exhausted by all the claims, and they just want to find their people, their tribe. And this is where we are now. With AI, it has never been easier to start a kind of mediocre business. You can spin up an ebook, generate some viral content, create assets with just a few clicks. But to actually stand out from that noise, you can't compete on information alone anymore. The best line for what it takes to get noticed has been raised for everyone, massively. So what's the solution? Here's the most important point. It's not some new marketing tactic or a fancy funnel. It's a fundamental shift in your identity, moving from being a narrow specialist to becoming what Dan Koh calls a polymath. Specialization was the winning strategy for the industrial age, right? Go deep on one thing, stay in your lane. But today, real value comes from breadth. The polymath is the person who connects the dots between different ideas. They don't compete on a single skill that can be easily copied. They compete on their unique taste and their one-of-a-kind perspective. So let's talk about synthesis, because this is really the polymath's superpower. It's when you take an idea from one field, say biology, and you apply it to a totally different one, like business. When you do that, you create something new. This is how you build what's called a niche of one, where you literally have zero competition because the niche is you. All right, so what does this new model actually look like in practice? Well, it's all about evolving from selling these static, dead products to creating dynamic, living learning experiences. So instead of selling a 10-hour video course that, let's be honest, has a 90% incompletion rate, the new model is about building a second version of your own mind. You create an interactive AI application that acts like a scaled-up apprenticeship, helping people learn by actually doing stuff with guided feedback in real time. And what's wild is that this isn't some brand new futuristic idea. It's actually a return to the past, to how knowledge was passed down for centuries. Before factories and mass education, you learned to craft by working side by side with a master. And now, for the first time ever, AI lets us recreate that personal, hands-on guidance, but at a massive scale. This slide really maps out the new game plan. You're not just a course creator anymore. You're more like an architect of an interactive learning world. You take all your existing knowledge, you build a simple interface around it, and then you program an AI with your unique personality, your frameworks, and your expertise. Okay, but here's the big question. If anybody can build a simple AI app, what's to stop people from just copying you? Where is your real defensible advantage? Well, it's not in the technology itself. Your advantage, your moat, is what Naval Ravikant calls specific knowledge. This is the stuff that can't be taught in a classroom, but it can be learned. It comes from just following your own genuine curiosity for years. It's that thing that feels like play to you, but looks like hard work to everybody else. That's the secret sauce that makes your creation truly valuable. And here's the kicker. According to Koh, we are in a very unique and probably very brief window of opportunity. AI is powerful enough for us to build these incredible things, but the market isn't totally flooded with them yet. This window might only be open for another 2 or 3 years. And this quote really brings it all home. Look, AI makes everyone fast. Anyone can copy a template, but very few people are truly uncopyable. Your unique taste, your synthesis of weird ideas, your specific knowledge. That is what lets you build something that nobody else would even think to create. So that's really the question that defines the future of the one-person business. It's not about finding a niche anymore. It's about building one from scratch, right around your unique perspective. What is the thing that only you would build?